Air New Zealand increased its number of domestic flights today so as many people as possible can get home as the country goes into lockdown. From 11:59 tonight, only staff working in essential services will be able to fly. Despite dozens of cancellations, there have been more than 100 international flights arriving in New Zealand today, and some routes are set to continue so New Zealanders can come home. Our reporter Logan Church is outside Wellington Airport, well away from the terminal, and joins us now live. Logan, how busy is it looking there?
Hi Lisa, yes, well one of those planes you mentioned before by Air New Zealand has just landed, we understand, from Christchurch, and there have been plenty of flights around New Zealand domestically today. Just looking, we drove past the terminal earlier today and there were certainly lots of people still going in and out. Now you must remember that the airports will stay open during the lockdown period. They are considered an essential service. However, everyone that we saw were of course wearing masks, most trying to stay well away from each other. Also, many of the car parks, which are usually filled with cars, many are standing empty. So certainly a very different scene at the airport than what we're used to.
We're just watching now, actually, those of us who can see you, a plane touching down behind you there, which I'm wondering about international flights. Are they still coming in?
Yes, well, there certainly have been lots of international flights land today. Many cancelled, but just to give you an idea of the numbers based off the airport's websites, in Auckland they had more than 100 international flights land, and Wellington 7 and Christchurch 3. Now, international flights will continue during the lockdown period, but they will be they'll be far less frequent. And New Zealand says it will continue for at least the inevitable, the coming days at the very least. Flights to Australia and back, that to get New Zealanders in Australia home. But I have also been speaking to tourists in New Zealand today. I spoke just before to a couple from Belgium who, as of now, have absolutely no way to get home. They are stuck in New Zealand for the next 4 weeks. So those international flight numbers are expected to drop quite a bit over the coming days. The only way, of course, for passengers to, or there might be another plane going off behind me, the only domestic travel that will be allowed going forward will be essential workers, but also tourists who can get out of the country. So they will be allowed to fly domestically to fly out the international airports.
So what about people inside New Zealand who haven't been able to fly by 11:59 tonight?
Well, Air New Zealand has ramped up its flights today. They say that they have had bigger aircraft available and more aircraft available to fly around New Zealand today. Of course, many flying would notice that the aircraft are far more empty. That's because the airlines have put in strict social distancing rules on the plane. But as of 11:59 tonight, as I said, Lisa, only essential workers and cargo will be flown around New Zealand, as well as tourists who can get out. So the message is you really do only have a few hours left before to get home. Otherwise, you might be stuck where you are.
Thank you, Logan. That is Logan Church at Wellington Airport. And if you're listening or watching, you could see that there definitely still are planes coming and going there.